Hello guys, welcome to my channel again. So in today's tutorial we'll be talking about how we can create a currency converter project using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So here is the sample of what we're going to build. So this is how the project look like. So this will be our project for today. So this project, it involves whereby you select the currency you want to convert, either from, if you select from to true, so you select any kind of currency you want to convert, then you want to convert to, then you select the amount, then you press the convert button. In case you want to reset, you simply click the reset function. So you can see all these features, you can see how the form look like. We have had some CSS, the designing, our drop menu, you can see our values. So let's set convert 10, convert it from US dollars to euros. If you click on convert, as you can see, we have a displayed amount here, which is 9.20 euros. If we convert the same amount, or we can reset, and then if you notice, if we reset the page, it clear this output here. Also it reset our input, and also it resets our drop menu back to the default. So let's go ahead again and select British pounds, convert them to Indian rupees. Let's put amount, we can insert also amount. Let's insert 100. Let's click convert. So you can see it's equivalent to 10,500 Indian rupees. We can reset, and you can see it reset all the pages on everything. It simply reset the form to default. So you see all these features. When you bring here the cursor, it become pointer. So you can see those hover effects. So this is what we'll be doing for today's project. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start our project. So first of all, make sure you have a Visual Studio installed in your PC. Then create a folder. I have a folder here. I'll navigate to my folder, and within my local disk I have this file named currency converter. As you can see, it's only have one picture, which is a background. Let's go ahead and rename it. We'll simply rename it to background. Let's name it background. That way. So it only have one image. So let's go ahead and open this folder to our Visual Studio. So navigate to our Visual Studio, and then click on these three lines. Go to File, Open New Folder. Click on Open a folder. Let's select our folder. Here's our folder, and click on Select. As you can see, let's increase our screen, or let's close this one. So you can see our image is here. So this is our image. So we'll go ahead and add some files. So click here, or you can click on this empty space here. You can click new file, and let's add an index file. We'll need an index.html. Also we'll need to style our work, so we'll need style. We'll need the style.css. Also we'll need to make our project functioning. Therefore we'll need to apply some JavaScript. So we apply script.js. So that's all. These are all the things that we need for this project. So let's go ahead and start designing our project. So first of all, we'll need to do, let's generate a random will generate a random code. I'll show you how. Simply we'll do that by pressing you simply press shift exclamation and you hit enter. So it should be here and hit enter. Let's get rid of this. So once you're done with that, we'll go ahead and let's name our project. Let's name our title, call it currency. Currency converter program. Also go ahead and we'll link our CSS. So let's link our CSS style. Also within our closing body tag, we will link our script. So go ahead and link our script, and the source will be script that way. So let's close this. So the next thing, we'll go ahead and we'll design a form. So we'll create a form. So let's go ahead and create a form with an ID currency form. So within our body, we'll create a form, and this form will have an ID of currency form. Give it currency form that way. Also within our form, we'll create one div class. We'll have a div. This div will contain, this div will have a class container. And within our div, we'll create h1 and h3 element. So we'll create an h1 and we'll name this let's write in lowercase currency converter that way. Also we'll need an h3 element, so let's go ahead and add an h3. Then you tell user to select the currency you want to convert. Select currency to convert. Then we need to create a label. We'll need a label that will contain from currency to convert from. So we'll need a label. So go ahead and create a label. This label will have a type of from, or simply from. So from currency, to specify currency. From currency, also this label will have an ID label. Give it an ID of label, and our label will have a label name, which is from this. Then the next thing we need to add a drop down menu whereby we'll add some currencies so that user can navigate and select the currency you want to convert from. So within our div, we'll create a select option. So let's create a select, and within our select, we'll give our select an ID of, from currency also. Give it an ID from currency, and again, and within our select we'll need to add some option, so different currencies. So I'll go ahead and do so. So I'll create an option. Within this option it will have a value, so our first value to be in US dollars, and then the value will be USD to convert it to USD, which is US dollars. That one. So let's copy all this, and we'll need to generate this for around 7 copies. So let's go ahead and do so. That way. Now the second will be euros. Convert from euros, it will be euros. That way. Simply it's euros. That one, it will be British pound, so it will be GBP. That way. It is simply the British pound. Then this one, it will be Indian rupees. The same here, Indian rupees. I'll name this as Indian rupees. We'll have another one for Kenyan shilling. Which simply mean Kenyan shilling. Also you'll have a Kuwait, which simply it's Kuwait. It's Kuwait dinar. And the last one will have a Tanzanian shilling. Tanzanian shilling. That way. So we'll need now to create another one for selecting two. So we'll add a line break, and here we'll add another select option. So we'll simply copy all this. Copy this, and we'll paste it here. And we'll need a label for this. Let's get rid of this. Let's undo. I want to copy only those that are relevant, so only this. that way, and this will have an ID of select to. It will have an ID to. That way. The next thing they'll do, let's go ahead and create another label for input. So let's go ahead and create a label. So we can open a live server. So ensure you have a live server so that we can view our changes. So simply click on open a live server, and let's see what we have so far. This is what we have so far. The currency selected, currency to convert from USD dollars. So we need to add another break here. We need a label for this, so we have to have this label here. So let's copy this and we have to add it here, and then it will be select to. Then here again of type 2, and let's save it that way. Then we need to add another line break here, create at least a larger, yeah, that way, that space. So the next thing we need to create another label here. So we'll create a label, and this label will be of type number. Create a label for number, with a label ID of, have a label ID, have an ID of label. Then our label name will be amount, that way. Then we need an input, so create an input. So we need an input, an input will be of type number. Then this input will have an ID of number, just call it my number, have an ID of my number, and also will assign an initial value. It will have an initial value of 0, that way. And also we'll add a break here, that way. You can save to see. You can see we are having that different, having amount here. Need another break here, just add another break, yeah. Then the next thing we need to create a button. We'll need 2 buttons. Also we'll need 2 buttons for this project. So let's go ahead and let's have a break here. Also we'll need to have a button, so create a button, and this button will be of type button type. It will be button with an ID of, it will have an ID of convert. It will be for convert purpose. Also we'll add an on click function. Whenever someone click the button, it should perform some function. So this function, it will be for conversion. This function, it will contain a function name, which is conversion. We have a conversion that way. So it contain that function, and then our button name, it will be convert, that way. So we'll copy this. We need the same for reset, and we will add it here. So this will be for reset. We'll need another one for reset. Also it will have a function for reset that way, and also button name, it will be reset exactly. Again, we need something else. We'll need to, whenever someone click a button, so let's save this to see. We need, whenever one click this button, it should display something here. So we'll need to add another paragraph where we'll forward our output. So we'll have another p tag here. This will have an id result. Give it an id result, and for now let's assign the hello word, so that whenever we style it, we will see. So this is our output will be displayed here, so we'll style it later. So these are the all elements that we need for this, for HTML. All these are the things that we need for now. So we'll go ahead and style them so that they will look much better. So let's do so. Let's navigate here, and remember you should have link your style. So let's proceed and select form, and we want to style our form. We'll need to style our form. We need all text to be aligned at center, so we'll have a text alignment, should be center. Also we need it to have a maximum width of around 500 pixels. We need to have a background. We'll create a background. Need a background color. For this we simply need a background color, so we'll go ahead and create a background color. So our color for our form will have this color code HLS with 187, have a saturation of 89%, and also will have a lightness of around 41%, that way. So let's save and see. As you can see right now, it's not bad. So let's go ahead and design. You need to have a margin. Need it to have a margin, and the margin will be auto, that way. So it has been placed at the center. So the next thing we'll need to add some padding. We'll need to add a padding of 25 pixels, both top, bottom, right and left, exactly. As you can see, padding inside. Then the next thing we'll need to add some box shadowing. So add a box shadow, and this box shadow will have 10 pixels, 10 bottom. It will have another 10 pixels left and right. It will have 25 pixels. It's a 3D. We'll have a color code HLS. This color code will be 0, a saturation of 0% also, and a lightness of 25. That one. Let's see. As you can see, there is this shadowing. As you can see, it's appearing here. So let's go ahead and also design. We'll need to corner this sharp corners, so we'll add a border radius of 20 pixels, and we'll need to add some minimum height for our form. So we'll have a minimum height of around 500 pixels, and lastly we'll add an overflow hidden. So let's save and see. It's quite good. So let's go ahead and design our components here. So let's go ahead and select our body. First of all, we need to add a background. We need to add a background to our body. So let's go ahead and add a background. So let's go ahead and add a background here. So select our body, and within our body we will give it a body a minimum height of 100 VH. Also, you'll need to create a background image using an URL, and within our URL we will pass our image. As you can see here, we had one image here, this image. So we'll go ahead and assign this image. So let's copy the path for this image, just rename, then let's copy. Let's come here, then our CSS, and let's paste. So let's paste it. So .jpg, that way. So you can save, as you can see. Then we need to add a background position, center. Also we need to add a background size of cover, exactly. Now it should look good. As you can see, it's now looking good. The next thing we need to design our h1 and h2 element. So let's select our h1 element. So we'll go ahead and select h1, and we'll add some CSS too. So it will have a font size of around 30 pixels. It will have a font style of normal. We'll add a font style normal. Also we'll need to add some font family. So if you have a font family of Verdana, add a font family of Verdana with a backup of sans serif. Also you'll need to add a font weight. It will be bold. And lastly, we'll add a color for our h1 element, and we'll give this color code HLS, and we'll give it a hue of 16, saturation of 100%, and lightness of 40%. Let's save and see. As you can see, it's not bad. So let's go ahead and select our h2, select our h3, and also we'll copy the same. Let's come here and paste. So we'll simply remove the color, no longer need that, but other things will be good, and change to give it a font of 20. Let's see, also it's looking good. The next thing we need is we need to select our label, these labels from to amount. We'll select all these labels. So we'll come again and select label, have an ID label, and we'll design our label. We'll give it also a font size. So let's copy all this and let's paste here to give a font size of 20 pixels. Also we'll design it to italic, and we'll give it a margin right. We'll have a margin right of around 40 pixels. That is cool, that's good. So let's go ahead and now design our drop down menus, these two drop down menus. So let's select the first one, which is from. So with an ID from, as you can see here, we'll select this, let's copy, we'll select this first drop down menu, and let's design it. Also it has an ID, and we'll give it a font size of 20 pixels. We'll give a text align should be center. Also a font family. Have a font family of Vardan with a backup of sans serif. Backup of sans serif. Also we'll need a font style. It should be normal. Also we need to add a border. So I'll go ahead and add a border. This border will have a border radius. It will have a border of 2 pixels. 2 pixels solid. I'll give it a color code of HLS, and we'll give it a color code. Let's copy this. I'll reduce this to 2%, that way. And also we'll need to add a border radius of around 7 pixels. Also we need to add a font width. We'll add a font width. Font width should be bold. We'll need to add a margin bottom. We'll add a margin bottom. Need to have some space here, so add a margin bottom of 35 pixels. The last one we need to add a margin top also of around 20 pixels. So let's save and see. As you can see, it's looking good. So we'll select the second one. So we'll simply copy this, and we'll change this to 2, that way. Let's go and copy all this. Let's paste it here. Then we'll remove a margin top. Also we'll add a margin left. Have a margin left. Add a margin left of around 20 pixels. We don't need margin bottom, so we'll remove this also, and we'll leave the other ones as the way they are. So let's save this. Is not affecting, sorry, should be that way. Let's save and see. It's now good. Now let's go ahead and design our input. So let's go ahead and design our input. So let's come here and select our input ID. Our input, it has an input ID of my number. Let's come here and let's start design it. So we'll give it, let's copy this and edit it. There's some features that we need, so let's just copy it and edit it one by one. We'll need a font size of 20 pixels. It's okay. Also need a margin bottom. We need to add a margin bottom of around 20 pixels. So let's change this to 20 pixels. Also we'll need to have a text align. This text alignment should be center. Then we'll give it a font family. select a font family for this, give it an MV bold. Also we'll need to give it a font style. Let's give it italic. Also it's good to give it it's okay, the margin bottom 20 pixels. Also we need to have it a margin right, so we'll add the margin right. So let's add a margin right. Need a margin right, so margin right of around 47 pixels. That way. Need to reduce our margin top. Let's make it 15 pixels. It will be good. And let's save and see what we have so far. As you can see, it's looking good. Now let's go ahead and design our buttons. So we'll go ahead and design our buttons. So let's go ahead and do so. Let's select our button. Let's go ahead and select our button. Our button have an ID convert. Just copy it and let's design it. So we'll design our button. Also we'll need to copy this to save time. We'll paste it here. We'll need a font size of 24 pixels, so we'll change this. Also we don't need alignment, should be center good. We need to add some padding to our button, so let's go ahead and add padding. Add a padding of 10 pixels and 20 pixels. Also we'll need to add a background color. Add a background color for our button, and we'll have this color code HLS. We'll have a color code of 220, a saturation of around 86%, and also we'll need to add a lightness of around 49%. That way. Also we'll give it a border radius of around 7 pixels. It's okay. Font family, let's leave the way it is. Also we need to whenever we hover over it, our cursor should change to pointer, so we'll add a cursor to pointer. The next thing, we'll need to add a margin top of 15 pixels. It's cool, it's good. And need to add a margin left. Need to have a margin left, so let's add a margin. Here you need to have a margin. To add a margin left of around 70 pixels. And we'll need to remove the border, so we'll remove border to none. And also we'll get rid of margin right. And get rid of this, don't need margin. So let's see what we have. So remove border, don't need border for this. Let's save and see what we have. As you can see, it's cool, not bad. So let's design our reset button. So let's go ahead and do so. So copy our reset button. Let's design it. So we'll copy this, we'll paste it here. we'll change the color. So we'll change a color for our reset button. So we'll add this background color. Let's change these values. So saturation of around 76 with a lightness of around 30. Not bad. So we'll need to give it a color. So give it a color. Also need to add a color HLS. Add this color. Then let's extend and give it a brightness of at least 7%. So we'll copy this and we'll add our convert button also. And let's also need a margin. Just get rid of this. Don't need a margin. And we need a margin left. So let's add a margin left. Add a margin left of around 20 pixels. That way. Let's save and see. You can see it's not bad, it's looking good. So the next thing we need, we'll add some over effect. So let's come here and select our convert. So let's copy this and we'll add an over effect. We'll add an over effect. Whenever we hover over this button, it should change color. So let's go ahead and do so. So we'll give it a background color. Let's copy this. Let's paste it here. And we'll change this color code. Give it a color code of, need a brightness of at least 80 and brightness of around 39, sorry, and saturation of around 80. Let's see. Let's save this. As you can see, it's not bad, it's looking good. Also, we want, whenever we click the button, it should tell the user that he or she has clicked the button by show some changes. So we'll add an active class. Let's copy this and we'll add an active class. Add an active class, an active class. So we'll add an active class. We'll give it a color code. So let's copy this and we'll extend this. So let's change this. We'll need a saturation of around 25. Give this 25. Also a brightness of around, let's give it around 74. And let's save and see. So whenever we hover over it, whenever we click, you can see. So we need to add a transition. So we'll add a transition here. So let's add transition. Add a transition of around 4 seconds. Have some effect of ease. Simply add an ease effect. So let's save and see. So whenever we click, so you can see it's not bad. So let's do the same for our reset button. So let's copy all this and let's paste it here. And let's change this to reset. And we'll change this color code. We'll give another color code here. Let's change our saturation. Let's give it around 70 and see. And also let's add some brightness. Give it a brightness of around 44. Let's save and see. Not bad. Let's make it 80 and see. Yeah, cool. Let's add an active effect. And we'll change this color code. Just extend it a little bit. So leave it the way it is. You just need to change the brightness. Let's give it around 94% so that we can see the change. As you can see, it's cool. Also, I need to add a transition, so go ahead and add a transition of 0.4 second. Add an effect of ease. So let's save and see. Yeah, it's cool. So it's good. It's looking good. So up to that point, we are good. So the next thing we need to design our result. So let's go ahead and design our result. So let's proceed and select our result ID. So come here and select this result ID, copy, and let's come here, let's style it. So we'll need to increase our font size. So let's go ahead and increase our font size. Give a font size of around 28 pixels. Also, we need a color for our result. We'll use this color, HLS. %, and a brightness of 0%. Also, we need a font family. Go with Verdana. Go with Verdana. Go with Verdana. The backup of sans serif. Also, we'll need to add some font style. Go ahead with the font style and give it normal. Just go with normal. And a font weight bold. Font weight bold. Exactly. Let's save and see. As you can see, it's cool. It's looking good. So we'll get rid of this. We want, whenever we click the button, it will display. So we'll get rid of this hello. We just put it here so that we can design. It will help us on designing. So let's go ahead and get rid of it. So let's get rid of this. As you can see, now it has gone. So these are the only CSS that we need for this project. So the thing that has remained is now functionality. As you can see, if we select, I can select this currency and also select this currency. Also, I can adjust value. Let me convert $10. But if I try to convert, there is nothing is happening. If I try to reset, there is nothing is happening. This is because we need to add a JavaScript to enhance functioning, to enhance our project or our program should be able to perform a function whenever we click a button. So let's go ahead and add some JavaScript so that we can complete our project. So without further ado, let's proceed to our script section. Also remember to link your script below here. Then let's go ahead and now add some functionality. We need to add some functionality to our project. So let's go ahead and do so. So first of all, we'll need to create a constant that will contain some exchange values. So we need to add some exchange rate, how we'll convert from one currency to another. So right now we will use a normal exchange rate, like we'll predict our values that will relate to the normal currency conversion. But since our currencies keep on updating, later I will be using, or I'll create another program that will use an API to fetch for the real currency conversion. But right now we'll use some default, or we'll create our own currency for depending on the currency conversion rate right now. So let's go ahead and create that. So we'll create that first of all. So I'll be reusing this. I have copied a detail somewhere that I'll be copied it here, so that we can save time instead of writing all those currency. So go ahead and do so. So those code are here. So I have those code here on my notepad. So I'll copy this. This is the code that I'll copy. We'll reuse this. So let's copy this and let's come here. Let's write a comment. So this is our custom. This will be a custom exchange rate for now. So this exchange rate might vary depending on day-to-day activities, or they may change. They'll keep on changing. But since this is a sample project, just use this fixed exchange rate. But it's good to use APIs to generate for the current exchange rate. It will be good. So they'll be relative to USD. So let's copy it here. So let's close this, and also let's get rid of this. So the next thing we'll need, let's go ahead and create a function. We have defined our function, so let's come here and copy this function. So let's define our function. So function, our function name, and we need to perform something within our function. So sorry, it should have a lowercase, not uppercase, that way. Then within our function, we'll need to create some constant variable, so that we'll fetch our IDs, the from currency, the to currency, my number, and result. We'll need to fetch this detail here, all these details. We'll need to fetch all this detail and also the result. So we'll need these IDs. So let's go ahead and create constant. This constant name will have an ID name of this name. So we'll start by the first one, from. So copy this. So this will be a first variable, and we'll have a document. We want to fetch those ID. So document dot get element by ID. Then our ID name, it will be the value we copied. And also we need let me, my PC is out of power. Let me just fix it. We are good. So we'll need to fetch that value. So we need to fetch that value exactly. So when user select this value, we'll need to fetch this value exact. So we'll select that value. So we want to select that value that user has select. So let's copy all this. Let's copy this and we'll paste it several times. So we'll paste it several times. So let's paste it. Let's 4 times. Then the next thing we need to go ahead and select our IDs. So we'll go ahead and select each ID and replace it. So let's come here and select our next ID to currency, copy this ID and let's replace here, also replace here. Also we need to fetch our input is my number, copy this, need this input, so replace it. And lastly, we don't need this, there's no value that we're fetching there, only need the ID. Let's copy this ID and let's replace it here. Then let's convert. Whenever user input anything, we'll need to convert it. In case input another different value, we just need to convert it here. So let's go below here and convert it. So let's create another variable, call it amount. And this amount we want to convert it to number. So we'll convert our input to number. My number dot value, we are fetching that value and converted it to number. This is good whenever we fail to declare, let's say we have not declared our type as number, we just declare our type as text. So whatever user will be input, it will be in form of a text. In case input a number, but it will be in form of a text, so it's good to use this number conversion function to convert whatever it has been input back to number. Then we assign it to a variable amount, so it's good. So that way. So the next thing we want to use an if statement. So whenever user has not input anything here, let's say this value, it has not been inputted, it's 0. Whenever user has not input anything, we need to display an information telling him to input some value, or he has not reminding him that he has not input anything. So let's go ahead and use a not function. So we'll go ahead and create an if. So if if not amount inputted, if not amount, then we'll need to do something. We'll need to display something to our form. We need to display something here, so we'll display something. So text content, and the information will be please enter amount. That way. Let's save. Then we need to return, so add a return. Then the next thing we need to do, if the user has input any value, so we have no problem with this, so we'll proceed. So we'll proceed with our code. So we'll need to fetch this exchange rate here, so we'll need to fetch some data so that we can compute the conversion. So we'll need to fetch this detail here. So let's go ahead and write some comment. So let's fetch the exchange rate. So let's declare another variable. So let's create a variable rate. This rate will assign a value exchange rate. This is an array. So we want to select from to 2, so we'll add these two arrays. Select from to 2, so we'll use an array from, then 2, 2, let's create another 2 that way. So we want to select to pick this information. Whenever user select one of these, will be stored there, then another one from this, so that we can compute. So let's go ahead. In case user select a currency, let's say user select euros to Indian rupees, and then it happened that Indian rupee is not within our dataset or within our array. We don't have, right now we have Indian rupees, but in case this is not available, it should also display some information so that it will not leave the user in a suspense, not knowing what is going outside or behind this or behind the project. So it's good to inform the user everything that is happening. So we'll create another if, informing the user if something is not happening, then she'll display something. So if now our rate, if not rate, then we need to do something. If not rate, we need to display something. So we'll display something, text content, and this time it will be invalid conversion rate, meaning that value is not existing. So if that currency is missing, as we have said, if that currency is missing from our exchange rate, then there should be some information telling the user that that currency is not existing, therefore it will be in form of an invalid conversion rate. So we'll have to pick another currency in case that has happened. So if nothing has happened, we will proceed. So if this is not happen, or this is if this is not happen, it is not, if it is not happen, then we'll proceed. So we'll proceed with our code, and now we'll need to, it's good to return once it has checkout. It's good to return, so we'll return here. Then let's get out of this if loop. Then the next thing we need to create another variable. So let's create a variable, and this variable, it will be for converted amount. So let a variable for converted amount. So this will store the value converted. Once we convert this from to true, insert the value, then the converted amount will be stored to this variable. So let's go ahead and do the conversion. So we'll pick the amount, we'll pick this amount here that the user has input. So we'll pick that amount, and this amount will multiply it by our rate, exchange rate, this rate here. So it will pick it from which to which. So from this to this, it will pick that value, converting. Let's say it has picked euros, it will just pick here converting euros. Let's say to Indian rupee, it will just pick converting euros up to Indian rupees, which is 90 bob. So it will pick this rate here, and it will be multiplied by our amount. Then the next thing we'll do in case of decimal, we might expect decimal, since you can see our values here, some of them are having decimals, so we need to display this at least in 2 decimal place. So we'll use that to fix function. So we'll use to fix function to a decimal of 2, then that way, and then we need to display our result here. So let's go ahead and do so. So let's display our result, then result dot text content. It will be equivalent to use this slanting string. We need to use some placeholder. So go ahead and write the converted amount. Converted amount, use a placeholder. It will be converted amount. It will be this, sorry, it will be the converted amount. And also we need to assign the currency symbol. If it is euros to Indian rupee, we'll need to assign this symbol. So we'll use the to currency, that symbol for to currency. So we'll go ahead and assign it here. So we'll add another placeholder, and within our placeholder we'll add a to currency, generating the symbol for the currency that has been converted to. And let's end this program here, this code here, and then we are good to go. So let's see if what we have let's see if this function will be working. So let's check out. So let's try to input some value. Let's try to select something. Let's convert euros back to some Indian rupees. Let's select amount. Let's put 10. Let's click. As you can see, it's converting. The converted amount is 900 Indian rupees. Let's convert this back to Kenyan shillings and see. So the converted amount is 1400 Kenyan shilling. So it's good, it's working. Let's add this to US and see. It's equivalent to 1300. Not bad. So let's convert something here, Tanzanian shillings to Kenyan shillings. So let's check 1000. It's equivalent to 53 bob Kenyan shilling. So if we convert this to, let's say, to Kuwait dinar, if we converted 1000 shillings to this, is equivalent to 0.1 Kuwait. So it's good, it's working. So the next thing we need to do, we need our reset button to reset our form. Whenever we click it, it should reset this form back to default. Right now it's not working, so we'll need to add that feature so that it will reset our form entirely. It will reset everything. So let's go ahead and adjust this so that it will be able to perform similar feature as the converted button. So let's go ahead and pick our function. So we'll pick outside here and we'll create another function. So we'll go ahead and create a function, and this function, it has a function name. Let's copy this. Just copy that. We'll be using it. And within here, the only thing we need to do within our form, we had a form ID. We'll just need to copy this form ID. So let's copy this. We need to use a function, a reset function, to reset our form. Everything that is within the form will be resetted. So we just need to use a document dot get that ID. So we'll use a document dot get element by ID, and the ID here is this one, and then we will assign a reset function. Simply use a reset function. That's the only thing we need to do here. So let's write a comment here, reset all form. So it will reset, simply reset element. So let's see. So if we input some value here and we converted it, let's input some value. So this is the converted amount. If we reset, it's not resetting, it's not. Let's check. Okay, let's check. Let's check our ID. Let's adjust this. let's save it here, then let's copy it here. Sorry, as you can see, it's now working. It's working. As you can see, if I reset, it's reset back to default. So the only thing this function is not doing is resetting our output. If let's say we convert that value, as you can see, if we try to reset, it's not resetting this value here. So we'll need to add another way that we will be able to reset this value. So we simply need to reset this value by itself. So we'll go ahead and reset this individually. So let's come here and we'll simply add a clear, we just need to clear that output. So we'll clear output. So whenever we click the button, simply clear the output. So we'll need to reset our result dot text content, and we simply need to add a empty string. So whenever we click that button, we simply clear our output. Let's save and see. So let's go ahead and add some value. So let's add some value here. Convert. It's good. If we click on reset, now it should be able to reset everything. It's good. Now it's resetting everything, so it's working. So this is what we have for today, guys. So we have, as you can see, we have now able to create our project. Our project is now finished. So we'll simply try to input some value, try to do some conversion, and check out. It's working, it's converting. You can reset. As you can see, it is reset the entire document. So this was all I have for today, guys. So thanks for your time. Hope to see you in the next video. So remember to subscribe to my channel. I'm new here, so support my channel, guys. I really appreciate for your time. Thanks for watching my videos. Hope to see you in the next video. Thank you, and once again, thank you so much. Remember to subscribe to my channel. That one subscriber mean more than world to me, so go ahead and hit that subscription, and I thank it. I will really thank it. So goodbye, and see you in the next video. It's goodbye.